Yo, you know what to do? Breaking Records Radio. That's right. Your boy, the OG, the Dot's finest, the rhyme reverend, Severin, for your brethren, thrust in the building. That's right.
Check it out, Breaking Records Radio and the place to be. This is now the 5th episode of Toronto Time. It's your host, Maloney, and I've got a very special guest with me. This is HipHop royalty hailing from the T.O, the legendary Thrust OG in the place to be. How is it going, my man?
Life is beautiful. Life is precious. We here, man. Here to talk some music, have a good time. You know what I mean? Resonate. I'm good, though. Like I said, man, I can't complain. It's been a good year. I've actually seen physical results of like my labor, like physical results of my labor. Like everyone go digital, but this is the kind of year we having. And the ill part about it is one more behind me. I got 2 more pieces of vinyl coming for the end of the year.
Really?
Yeah, last year was collabs. This year, I did a whole bunch. I was everywhere. This year, I was releases, and not like, I did digital too. We did like it's 1994. That's crazy.
Yep.
But we're doing physical, and even that was physical because you wanted the CD. There was a CD, right? So yeah, so this is a year of physical, handheld release, and like completed projects, and it's dope. So like I said, I'm enjoying my music. It's art to me, and I'm at the stage in my career where everything I'm doing is art. I'm picking and choosing what I want to do and where I want to go, because I don't really have to prove things on a certain level, you know what I mean? But it's just nice, man. Accolades, the airplay, the DJs, the mix shows, the love. It's been amazing. So, and lots more to come.
That's what I like to hear, man. And one thing I will say too, before we do take it back and all that, the fact that you just brought that up and you brought up 94, one thing I do want to just say to you, face to face, digitally face to face at least, is you and Bofat doing the 94. You guys had me on the one joint on there. I know that a lot of that was arranged by Bofat. You hadn't spoke prior to that, but I just want to say, as a student of hip hop, somebody looked up to you, and everybody else from that era, Toronto hip hop, who paved the way. I remember watching you guys on Much Music when I was 6 years old, bro. I'm 32, so I'm an old head and soul, but I had to go back and research. But that's what I grew up on. Like, I remember seeing you guys on Much Music and stuff, going in, talking to Master T, that kind of shit. And for the opportunity to be able to rock a verse on a project that was of yours and Bofat's, man, it was more than an honor. It was it was an opportunity I truly, truly, truly appreciated. And to start the year off with that was just I can't thank you enough for.
Well, thanks, man. I mean, that was the beauty of the whole project, and that project started actually as a result. We finished the Broken Arrow album, actually.
Yeah,
that was like the last part. Like we worked. Our releases this year came like in reverse. Me and Bofat basically met. We've actually met. It's almost like a year. We haven't even known each other that long. We met over the internet like a year ago. Yeah, but the way I connect with people, like, I just started, like, instead of just doing text, I just started sending voice messages, and we started connecting at a different level. I was working with Denku. Yeah, so we had like 3 projects in the bag already. Because we did a Denku and Thrust album, which you guys haven't heard yet. That's finished, mastered, Nicer Than You. Then we did Broken Arrow, and when Broken Arrow was finished, I had extra songs. Because we were at a rate of doing like, I don't know how many songs. I have a studio at home. That's what changed my whole ethic in the last 2 years. Like, I've had a studio and taught myself to record about like 7 years ago, but I wasn't throwing myself fully back in the game yet. But I just brought all that up and I just kept recording. But when I met Bofat, I just happened to move. We moved into a house. The situation was better. I finally had the full basement. You get the space to finally do it.
Yeah.
Like, I had equipment, but I couldn't make the noise in that way. Because, Sonic's a studio record. So the setup, like where I'm at now for the last year, has been amazing. And I already had like songs stacked. I already had 3 years music. I have like 5 years music right now.
Woo!
5 years music. Yeah, I've got albums finished. I've got like, right now we've got, I think, that you guys haven't heard, I think there's 4 albums finished. And when I say finished, mastered finished. Not like finished, mastered, title, in the can. Yeah, I'm way ahead right now. I'm working ahead. But I got this from going to other studios and just seeing how the game is, right? But yeah, so that was one of the things that COVID did too, because I took advantage of COVID in another way too, right? So, and I was blessed with access to studios. So yeah, so that's pretty much how all that happened. So that's how by the time we got to you, it was kind of orchestrated because we were like, oh, what are we gonna do? I said, well, let's do a project like a Wu-Tang-esque project, but let's do an international one. Because I know all these MCs like crazy that are from all over since, you know, my time in the game. And I go, you're a producer, you got a bunch. I go, let's just do it. And I'll just do a 16 or whatever, and we'll just come up and see what happens. And we did all of that.
That's amazing, man. And you know,
yeah, so that it's crazy because that's what that project is amazing, dude. That project, honestly, you listen to that, it's incredible, and it's one of a kind. It's like it's MCs from around the world.
Yeah, yeah,
you know what I mean.
And somebody of like your stature and your historical importance in not even just like Canadian hip hop culture, but Canadian hip hop culture as a whole, your history. You don't see that very often. Like you rarely ever see even an artist, you know, put somebody on, you know what I mean? But let alone a whole project where it's like, yo,
it just made sense, right? It made sense. And me and both that's what I said. When you get to a certain stage, that's why I even changed it like Thrust. Okay, I had Thrust, but this is Thrust OG. I'm at a certain stage in my career. I'm at that legacy stage in my career. So now I'm just adding on to my legacy. It's at a point you can Wikipedia me, you can look, you can see. You look at past, present, futures, the view's crazy, Northern Touch, there's a whole bunch of other things. There's so many things. If you really look back at me, you can see, because my time span started right with Jay-Z. I have the same time span as Jay-Z, same exact, right? And in my career, it started in the States. It didn't start in Canada. I started out in New York.
That's actually
I was one of the first artists on Fat Beats. So people see me on, how'd you get on Eclipse? Yeah, I was signed to Fat Beats from 96. I had my records, all those records, everything came on Fat Beats from 96. I was like the third or fourth artist on there.
Shit, eh?
And yeah. That's what people, they say, oh, you're on these shows. I've had links with all of them dudes. And those are the ones that broke me. Premier, Pete Rock, Molly Mall. I got broke by the greatest. Like, and they didn't know, like, that's just from the vinyl in the store and then the links. That's what I'm saying. So the legacy goes. If you go over to Europe, you can do the research. But that's how it started. And then Canada caught on later. Like, Canada caught up to me. Like, they knew me, but they were never really waving the flag. Even Northern Touch, they weren't waving the flag until after, like, when the video came out and, oh, it's playing internationally, which makes sense. I get it. And I got it at the time. But the thing about me is different is that I grew up on both sides of my border my whole life. Actually. Not many Toronto MCs could say, like, I've been in New York. My aunt had a church in Brooklyn, Flatbush. I've been going to Flatbush since I was 6 months old. Yeah, my whole life. All my hip hop, and you look at interviews, I'll say it time and time again. Yeah, I was that dude. Every March break, every spring, dude, I've been driving New York since I was like 15. I had my license right away at 16. I learned to drive on the way there when I was 14. Yeah, so all my stuff, we was the ones when it came back. So that's why you even hear how I talk, everything. It's not, nothing about me is fake or put on. That's just my what do you say? A brought up seat, if you want to bring up the Caribbean, right?
Yeah.
That's just what it is, right? So that's why I sound authentic in this way. And I'm different from a lot of MCs because I've seen it grow. I was there when Scott died. I was there every summer. My cousin lived in Queens, right? So we just, since I was like maybe 3-4 years old, we drive down all the time. And my aunt was in Brooklyn, right? Where we stay. And I'd stay there, and then we drive my cousin up. They'd spend August at our house, and they'd fly and drive back. And that was just how I was till I was like 15. And I'm 15, 16, I was in the car going.
Wow. See, and that's
and then
crazy.
My aunt grew up 3 blocks from the birth of hip hop, like right by her Herc Rock the parts. Yeah. I have another lineage. That's in my lineage later. Yeah. So it's like a whole bunch of stuff for me. So, but I'm a natural that came to music. I can naturally always rhyme like this. I could always rhyme. It's just some people are just meant to be. Even now, look, you hear the song, everything. It's fast, dude.
Yeah.
Everything's fast. Like, that's the thing when people call me. It's fast. It's not long, dude. And it's intimidating too. I see him later. Because when you see, like, that's what me and both able to do. We did those 3 albums in like 8 weeks, man.
That's insane. None
of those records sound the same, man. Listen, when you hear it, there's another one coming. Yeah. Even we were amazed, right? Can we keep this going? It's one of those things. You ever been on that flex? You're an artist. We keep this going. But yeah, but when you have people with the same elk, the same respect, the same heart,
and
the same work, and the same experience and work ethic, we go. But that's where I get my work ethic from. I'm not like, but I had a point in my career I wasn't working like this. It's just a lot of things make you change, man. You know what I mean? A lot of things make you change. You wake up and you go through stages and then you just see, you know what I mean? But I got behind doors, man. I've been in the studio with RZA, you know, I know like my boy Doc showed me how Dre produced stuff. Like God opened doors for me. Yeah. When I slowed down for a minute, he opened doors for me to see. And then I was on the biggest tour. I remember I did Soul Decision. So I toured with the Knowles family for 8 months, dude. I know Matthew Knowles. I know Beyonce. Like they know me. Like when I say know me, we're fat. Like I know Solange. So I had that experience doing that international tour. I toured the States for almost a year then, right?
Yeah.
So you put all that together. I did all the underground, and then I did and then I went to school for music too.
Wow, man.
So this is what we're seeing, dude. And then I was mentored by Ron Nelson. Came up with Ron Nelson in his house after every show, every flop, every success, every failure. I seen it. I was the dude I was the one with the artist. Look, I'm gonna show you. I always have pictures of art, like crazy pictures of art. This is another one. This picture here, can you see it?
Yep.
That's Funkmaster Flex, Yvette Michelle, but you can't see in the side that Biggie Smalls is in that room. Like I always been. Yeah, I was with Biggie in that room there for like 2 hours. He tried to roll a blunt, smokes. He says, I've been around KRS for a million times. Guru is my friend, dude. I'll show you a piece of paper. That's my, like hours, man. Bro. Yo, someone tried to rob his chain. I got his chain back. It's a crazy story. Yeah, I could smell on my life. You got to put craziness. Yeah, but that's hip hop. It gives you, that's why I stay pure to it. And I don't like try to venture outside of my lane. Because if I could be, but it's like, I like staying here. It's a good place to be.
One thing about you too is I don't think a lot of people actually realize how many things you have done. You know what I mean? And I do want to kind of go chronologically, but one thing I want to bring up, just because it's kind of in the vein of what we're already did, like some of the stuff you're talking about, but like you worked for Virgin Records for like 6 years, right? And you were like most massive projects like Spice Girls and stuff like that. Like
on Shot Claire too. That's a new shot. While launching myself. I did a lot, dude. As I said, but that's me. That's my name, Thrust. I'm always moving. I'm not a nostalgic rapper. A lot of rappers it's just done. They stop. Yeah. It's not me. There's more. There's so much more to come, and that's me. Everyone's gonna look back and realize what I do really when I leave this planet. I know that, dude. But I know what I've done, and I know what's coming. That's the most important thing in life. You gotta know where you're at, like, and have a peace of mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what people see me to say, look, you're looking younger every year. Look at you. Oh my God. Yeah, because I have a fulfilled life. You know what I mean? And I know my path, and my path is different. Like, it's not the fast path, but it's the path that you'd be like, oh my gosh, man. I did a lot of stuff, even gear. I did all that gear down all around the dome. That's on me. All those Raptors gears, F LeBron. I love, that's me too. There's clothing. There's so much stuff, man. I was part of the radio, but you just keep making music. You know what I mean? Music is the thing that just keeps me going. And it's a thing that kept me out of trouble and keeping myself on this level. So just, just like they said, find your lane and then grow it. You know what I mean?
And the thing that's different, I think, not to say, I think a lot of people do live hip hop and love hip hop, but like you have lived hip hop. You know what I mean? And,
but that's why I had but that's where the love is from. Like, yeah, it's hard to explain. I'm not that special. I'm just the same as anybody that saw hip hop. It's hard to say, and it hurts a lot of people, but it's almost like if you didn't see hip hop in the 80s, man, or know what that essence is, or know what it is, even if you weren't there or didn't even explore it, then you don't even know.
Yeah.
Because we had so much fun, especially in Toronto. Yeah. Toronto was a hip hop motherfucking town, dude. Like, girls, everybody. It was almost like you see. So you know what it's like when you see the kid in Playhouse Party movies. Yep. And you see that thing. Just picture that. But we had like 2,000, dude. Everybody, man. You go to Flemo, every Flemo was all B-boys, B-girls, everyone under 30, everybody in walked in, man. I mean, Biz walked, rest in peace. I remember Biz walked the film like, yo, it's like the Bronx, yo. And he stayed, played ball in Flemo, everything, played extra time. They're hanging out. Yeah, because the vibe, the energy was there. So it's like, of course, because people resonate with like when you have the most fun. So hip hop gave me the most amount of fun, right? In 90s, and it still does, right? Just now, it's just this inside computer thing. And I get it, it's just where it's at now. And nothing could ever stay the same. It has to like, but the good thing about me is I knew it. I always knew it wasn't gonna last forever.
Yeah.
I always had this knowledge. Like if you see a picture, I'm always smiling. I just made sure my shirt was drenched every night. Drenched. Anyone know me? I dance. I could dance like crazy. Why? Because dude, it's gonna stop, man. You want to make sure you had. So we had the fun. We did the things. You know what I mean?
Enjoy every.
That's why you see the pictures of certain people get together. You see them, when they get this movie, just a smile just gets that much bigger because he's just like, oh my gosh, remember that night, man? Like those live at the barbecues we had on Queen Street. Oh my goodness, man. The Rivoli, that Rivoli place was the whole 250 people. I think we must have had like 500 people in there, dude. And then the line was down around the corner, people still trying to get in. Hip hop all night, 4 turntable master mix for like 6 hours, man. Between Scratch, Power, DJ X, the best in the city, like was like 457, Mastermind.
It's crazy.
All in one night, man. You know what I mean? I think that's when Come Clean came out around that time. That's how.
It's like, and that's exactly why I want to do the show is because it really, I think it's kind of like exactly what you said, right? Like hip hop has been so alive and strong in Toronto for so many years, like even those early years, right? And it doesn't necessarily, I don't think the story gets told enough, right? And I know
here's the thing though, it was stronger than it almost died. It's almost dead right now. Like it was so strong, dude. You went downtown on Tuesday in the summer, you went downtown. Ask anybody for the chain, everybody. When I see you looked around, it's like because reggae wasn't big then. It's hard to picture it. Reggae came in like 91, 92.
Yeah.
And the divide, R&B wasn't messing with hip hop. R&B was 2 different audiences, dude. They didn't even mess with hip hop. That's what everyone know now, because the music kind of, it was separate, man. It was different things, right? So, but then by 94, 95, the dancehall, the reggae scene, boom, you see all that. And then the calypso, that whole scene, boom, right?
Yeah.
But the hip hop started to tail off like 2000s. The audience, that mass is going out. And it's even now, you don't see, like now you go to the show, like it was all Black people, dude. Like now you see it's very integrated, which is fine. But I say it was Black people. You went in there like, yo, man. It's like going to a reggae party. Like it would be like as if Sean Paul or Beanie Man, whoever came, you know what I mean? Yeah. Big artist, Buju, whoever come. And you go in there to see, you go, that's what it was. Imagine that's just all hip hop. Like you can't see that no more. You guys never seen that. The last time people seen that was when Wu-Tang came at the government.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
That was the last time. Wu-Tang came, were you there or you remember that time, right?
I remember when I didn't have an opportunity to go to it.
I wasn't there. I didn't go to that. I've seen Wu-Tang, but I didn't go to that show. But that was the last time, like, and then they closed government. And that was the end of the club era too. Like when the condos came to Toronto and wiped out that too, right? So Toronto's gone through a lot of changes, man. But that's why, like, musically, I'd always keep my, like, hip hop is like a global thing too. And the pulse of hip hop, like I said, I always had that tie straight to New York. So I just always went to New York. Because I've been going to New York.
Yeah, and see, and actually, so one of the opening questions I had for you, but you kind of already covered it, would have been like what was kind of like your earliest introduction to hip hop in Toronto? But the fact you've been going to New York since you were a kid, that's
where I met it. Yeah, I didn't meet it in Toronto. I was the one that brought a lot of it back, man. I brought it back every summer, and I brought back records. I brought back culture. I brought back gear. Yeah, I'm one of those people that was bringing it back. But that was how hip hop came to Toronto. I'm not the one. I'm never. But it was like
you were one of many.
Me and my friends. No, it was a bunch of us from Toronto. Like, Ron Nelson's one of, like, we were that group. DJ X, K Force, the guy that made up T-Dot. That's one of my best friends. All those people. Boogie B, both. there was like all of us would go visit our aunts, uncles, and family in the summer that we've been going our whole lives, which is probably about 50 of us.
Yeah.
We're the ones that brought hip hop to you.
Crazy, man. It's
but
crazy.
that's the hip hop spread everywhere.
Yeah.
If you ask the people in Texas, it's the same thing. Premier's from Texas. He ain't from New York. He moved there.
Yeah.
Same thing. I was visit. You always hear the story because you have to go to Mecca. It's like Islam religion, right? You got to go and then you bring it back. Well, we're the ones always going.
Yeah.
Right? Dude, I knew about rap for anybody knew about rap, dude. I knew about all that. I see it. I was driving around. Dude, we got robbed, this, that, getting gas. I seen everything. I know that, but not only like the music, I know the feel. I was in the city all the time, right? Man. It's crazy. So it's different, right? It's different when you can say that, right? But that's just a blessing. My parents always traveled. My parents were that family, always got in the car and like travel. We went to Philly. I was always in Philly. I drove to Florida. We drove to Washington. Like anywhere on the East Coast, up and down the coast, right? Like we're just that family. Any break, my dad's a plumber. My mom worked for the government. So we're able to like just move around. And we had family on our car, just all over the States and in the Caribbean too. And my parents went to school my mom went to school in England too. So we had that England. So I went to England when I was like 19 too. So that was dope too. So I got to have a global mind, But my first group, me and Mastermind, it was called World Domination. I always had that vision. And I was like 15 years old.
That was the first group you were a part of, was you and Mastermind?
Me, Mastermind, DJ X, and Supreme.
Really?
And then we did like 2 songs at Beat Factory. We're the second artist to go to Beat Factory Studios. That's when they were Pickering. And then we disbanded as a group, but me and X stayed together. And then I was like thrust to Supreme. And then what else? I can't remember the changes after that. And then we went into like more group stuff and stuff that we went on. Then I formed like one of the biggest groups in the city, KGB, my boy 10K. Yep. We were on Cold Front. We had like offers in the States up here. Like I was in Electra. That's how I met Pete Rock and CL Smooth just before they did the first EP because they were doing the release party. We were there. We had a meeting with the A&R. Yeah, I could have been signed so many times too. My groups could have been signed. They all just got big and groups fell apart. I didn't get to be solo thrust till 96, but I started from 87.
Wow, eh?
Yeah, dude. I'm an 80s rapper. 87, like everybody know. But it was 96, and then 96 is when I did my Past, Present, Future EP. But I've been recorded on record. Like I was on Split Personality single. I've been on records and I'm on Maestro's second album, Past the Champagne. So that's 1990. I've been on recorded, like, and that's all vinyl releases. Yeah, my legacy. No one has my legacy, dude. No, certain people know they want to talk to people, whatever, but no one has my legacy, dude. And I've been in the streets before, like everybody. Before I've been at every party, like at all the rappers that signed, like I've been at the parties way before all of them. I dare anyone to come say they've been at more than me. No, because my dad. Here's the link. My dad, worked with Warren from Sunshine.
Oh yeah.
Warren from Sunshine's an electrician. My dad's a plumber. So I've known this. That was my link to hip hop before even Ron. Right. So I met Ron in grade 7 because DJ X and his mom, they did this party. I knew Warren from Sunshine since I was 5 years old. He's knew me. Uncle Warren. I know the Wembley family forever. So that's how I was in shows, dude. I know Sunshine and that's when, so I was a shorty, dude. When I say I was a shorty, that's when I was 13. I was a shorty at them parties. Hagerman's, all those parties, man. So I know all the DJs. I know, dude. I know. I've seen the timeline, but it's a blessing of God, dude. Like I always, if you look, you'll always see a picture, and I'll always kind of be there. And even now, like I'm still there, and you know what we're doing right now. But that's why I did my first album, Past, Present, Future. I just had that thing about me. I'm adopted, man. My other story is even crazier than the rap story. But you ain't got time for that. But that's how I know. Some people are just different souls, man. I just been that soul, dude.
Yo, it's crazy though, man, because like, just like, literally you seen everything, like, and so like the whole concept of the show is exactly like everything you're talking about is literally without me even having to ask specific things. You're diving in and the embodiment of exactly what I'm trying to get across by doing this, right? Because
you know what it is? I feel your energy, and it's like, everybody's trying to tell the tale, but you can't tell the tale if you weren't there or part of it.
Exactly.
We got so many people in this game, big names too that we all know. And they're trying to tell this whole tale. But homie, you was only there from, like most of the people we seen in front of the spotlight camera, they only came on the scene since, what, 93?
Yeah. And some even
93,
later.
I know. And I was part of that too, because I was part of Fresh Arts.
Yeah.
So I mentored all of that too. I was part of, that's another thing. See, another thing I was part of, people know, I don't put it out there like that, right? So, boom, right? I'm part of Public Enemy too. People don't know that. I'm part of his Unity Force project since I was 15. Yeah, I'm one of those leaders, dude. That's another thing, way back. Yeah, I toured Public Enemy right at grade 9. I was in the second week of high school, man. Boom, we did the tour. The HDV, boom, boom, boom. Went all, yeah. So there's a lot of stuff, man. But that's what I'm saying. But people, you can't, it's hard, and it's nobody's fault. They're trying to do it, but you got to call on the right people to tell it, man. And there's only so many people can tell it. And then some people are telling it, but they're only telling their part.
Yeah.
Thing about me is I'm selfless with it.
Yeah.
Because I love the culture that much. You know what I mean? I know what I did, I know what edited, but I love the culture more. You know what I mean? So
that's the amazing part, right? Because kind of the, and I'll keep this part short, but just like, and I know I explained it to you a little bit off camera, but the whole premise of the show is what I want to do, interview people who either, they don't, it doesn't matter what era they come from, but I want them to tell their story, but also the climate of what hip hop was in the city at the time. You know what I mean? So you can see it through each individual's eyes. And over the course of all these interviews, you'll kind of get a good grasp of Toronto hip hop history from back to the 80s all the way up to current. Somebody who might have gotten to hip hop in 98, but who's kind of popping now, get him on the show and he can see it through his eyes, right? But the beautiful thing about you, which even I knew your history went back, but even just in the stuff you said, it goes further back and is so much more intricate than even I could have imagined. So it's like, you are literally probably the most perfect guest I could have had on the show. And so thank you for coming on so early on as well too, because
that's when you reached out, I figured that's kind of what you're doing. So I was like, you know what? It's like, I have to do this because I represent like a lot of people, dude. Like, that's the thing about me. People don't understand, man. Like, I'm heavy. I represent. They message me. They call me. I should show you messages in my phone from every area in Toronto. I'm sure people don't get messages because I'm holding a flag in a lot of ways. A lot of people passed on. They grew up. They moved on. But, oh, Thrust, he's still there. Oh, Thrust, he's still there. Oh, Thrust. Because when they see me, they see them.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because that's the thing. People got to remember, for hip hop to survive, you had to have a core of people that supported it selflessly. And this is what happened here. It was from probably like, really idealistically, Fantastic Voyage Rhyme, probably like from 84 to like a 10-year span, consistently, 84 to like 96.
Yeah. Consistently.
And I mean, we had concert shows, things every weekend, concerts every 2 months, regular, boom. But I mean, people, I'm talking about, and it was just 1,500 people. You would literally go to the party and Rex Islington Kipling was over there. Regent, it was always about Regent and Flemington Park, the two biggest areas. Regent, they have this corner. Boom was over. Some people couldn't walk to certain, and it was like that at every party for like 20 years. Dude, for 10 years, dude. And the big shows, trying to be big beefs, so the beef wouldn't, at the show, the beef ain't happening because the show has to happen. But the next thing, dude, like I seen the craziness, dude. Kano came back from my homie. He's back here from Australia. I seen the Roadhouse, man, on steroids. Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze, where they have the stage and the mesh and the don't do it. I seen way worse than that, man. Like, crazy. But that's what I'm saying. But you had to square up, deal up, blah, 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 humble yourself, or never come back again. That was the thing about it. Goes just that same to always going to be there next week. It's like going to school and that same guy gonna be waiting in the playground.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the culture of it. But that's when you get respect. That's what people see you. And then, of course, from that, it has to grow. Nothing can stay the same. Like, it has to grow and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. But that's the foundation. You know what I mean? And that's what you see in New York. That's why it's the same thing. That's why we look at the funny thing is, people from, like, you have that for New York, but you don't got it for yourself. We're starting to get it for ourselves. But you need to own it. Like, you don't need to do anything. But the best thing to do is to own it, right? Because that's your history, that's your like culture, that's your story. And it's important because we're part. The thing that people don't understand is like Toronto was a major player in that scene.
Well, see, and that's the
like
thing.
Most artists' first interview was on Much Music when they came up here. Master T, you did T, like you know what I'm talking about. Most people's first tour, showstop, professional was here, man.
Yeah,
the artists all tell you. Kara says it a million times, right?
Yeah. Right, in the 80s, a lot of the pop and hip hop acts, they were coming up to Toronto to shows. Like there was a strong New York Toronto connection in the 80s there. I mean,
Ron, because Ron had a famous agency. Ron was tied right in with the agency. He had the sheet in his bedroom. Boom, they trusted him and they wanted him to break it. Like they knew it was growing. So they were throwing him acts, calling him.
Yeah,
we had shows like every 2 months, dude. I got this climber, like, what's this, dude? You know what show that I said? You know what's fun we had, man? I got the flyers, like the somewhere in here. I got a whole bunch. People always buy the flyer. I got the whole bunch, my whole wall. Yeah, man.
Oh man,
crazy, dude. We seen like everybody multiple times, man. We saw Kane when Kane was only with Biz, when Kane was only touring for like 2 weeks. He was in Toronto, and they did like a 2-hour show. Kane and Biz, dude. It was anyone seen this? It was there on December 26th, like 1999 or something. We see some crazy moments. And he did a lot of his records before the records came out. Rhyming with Biz, they did Rhyming with Biz, all this other stuff. Historical, and even for them it was historical.
Yeah.
Because that was the first time they did it.
Yeah.
And then they seen the crowd, right? Like all those kind of things. But that's what we had in our city. Beastie Boys running around. I remember this is a story. Beastie Boys. First album, dude, running up and down Yonge Street, dude. I'm walking down Yonge Street to go to Carnival Records record store. I'm like 15. I'm like, oh my God, Mike T goes, yo, what up, man? Yo, they're walking around eating, so nobody knows who they are, dude. Me and my boy. But they're in Toronto, they're doing some crazy show. And I remember, in the city, they interviewed them later. Like, this upcoming, it's just crazy. LL Cool J, there was a story that LL Cool J, I wasn't at the mall, but I remember he walked through the Eaton Center. He was in the Eaton Center. First album, Bigger and Dapper. When the first album with Radio, man, just going through the Eaton Center, shop to do it. People like, I was like, oh my God, yeah. But no, like, you know what I'm saying? But back in that pure time,
man,
like there's stories like that. Like it was just, that's Toronto, man. North Hollywood. North Hollywood.
It's incredible. Essence.
Hollywood North, that's what they say, or whatever, right? Hollywood North, that's what they say.
And I know it's way before my time, but it's like, just that essence, like, because Chris Jackson, right?
Mm-hmm, so of course. Well, he's one of those people.
Yeah. He's one of my mentors, right? So when I came up, he would tell me a lot of these stories, and it just blew my mind. I'm like, how is this not documented, right? Like,
Chris was there every night with me. Chris is one of those people too.
Yeah.
See, we're still around, right? Yeah. Chris is everything I told you in this interview. Yeah. Chris would be beside me. Yes. See what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like that's what I'm saying, but that was us, man. Those people were, special, man.
It's insane.
Special, man. Right? It's crazy, man. It's crazy, but that's the thing. But the good thing is everybody's still active. Everybody's keeping it, and we're passing it on. And then you're doing what you're doing. You're passing it, and we just keep that alive. And then we got to document it, like, and make it official, right? Not let someone else document it. Even though they're trying their best, but how can you tell the story you wasn't there, man? Yeah.
And you got to talk to the people who were there, man. That's exactly and that's exactly what I really want to do with these interviews. There's so many things you've touched on that, like, I could talk to you literally right now for hours just on literally things you know what I mean? You've just brought up to me. But, with that being said, I would love to have you on again and dig deeper into some of these other stories and stuff.
Was there any, like, I know we went over the thing. The thing about me is I'm like you, I've done interviews and I've done college and I've done it. So I know it's like we're balanced. When I get interview, we always get it because just the energy. Yeah. Balance free. And then we usually get, the funny thing is by the end, we usually, without looking down, usually everything's answered and then some. But was there anything you really wanted to get at that we didn't get into?
I mean, as far as that, I just kind of want to go chronologically, but I don't want to. I want to try to touch a little bit of everything, but I also, you said so many intriguing things. It's hard for me to just.
You know what it is? I think what I gave you was chronological because I gave you the
Yeah.
timeline. I gave you the years.
So
I gave you the influence. The influences, and the only thing I could add is the difference between me. I think a lot of people too, and a lot of MCs and stuff is that I came up. If you look at it, like a lot of rappers hang around rappers and come up with rappers and rappers, but I was around the top DJs. I could DJ like a motherfucker. Yeah. That's one thing people never say. Oh, I could tricks. My best friends with DJ X. I came up with DJ X, Mastermind, just pre-prime into prime, you know what I mean? Yeah. Ron Nelson. I know all the DJs. Even all the reggae DJs I've been around for like forever. King Turbo, I remember back in the days, Red Flame, Specs. I know all those guys forever. Like I was always around the DJs and more producers, Howard Hughes. Like I known about breaks, yeah, and all that stuff since. So that's the thing, as an artist, that gave me a different, I think this gives me longevity because I understand the structure of records. I think producers, I could produce too, but I just want to say, so that was my edge, I think, over a lot of things. You just have a different ear when you're around people that play music and you know how to play music, as opposed to someone that just wants to hear bars spitting.
Yeah.
So that's why I like to make like my I think that's what makes my songs a little more complete or long. You can listen to them. I just trying to make the structure of the song. Say, hey, you could play this song like 30 times.
Yeah.
That's my goal. Not that I can rhyme hard out there, but I'm like, no, I want you to play this, dude. And it's a jam.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I want you to groove with it. I want to mesh with it. Right? I don't want to overpower it. It's like the same thing, right? So it's just that really was the one thing I think was different. But as far as everything else, I mean, the timeline, we touched on it. Everyone knows up to like, I think pretty much you could look up to that point after 1999 and 2000 after we did the Note and Touch. But it's the time before they really made it. And all of those efforts and all those times in the studios. And knowing that I was in a lot of groups before, I was in groups of like years before. So that's why people have to go back and look at that. Like, oh, shoot, KGB, A Child's Garden of Grass. What's that? Boom, boom, boom. You got to go research that and you'll look at that, right? So, but it's interesting, man. It's just like I said, it's been a joy to just be part of this thing we call hip hop, man, and go for this ride, man.
It's incredible, man. And the amount of history that's in the city, it's just, you know, it's inspiring, really, you know. And I think, you know, like my generation, you know, my entry point, like I said, is around 96, right? You know what I mean? Like even seeing like, do you understand on much music? Things like that. Northern Touch, that's my end. But just to understand what the precursor of all that is, you know what I mean? It's inspiring, really. And it helps you really understand the blueprint of really all the work that you guys and the other pioneers of this culture here really put down forward. And like, I guess one thing I want to ask kind of before moving a little further from that period of time, but it's like kind of, and you kind of said to a degree, right? You're like, you had this idea that you knew this wasn't going to last forever. So you enjoyed every moment of it. But did you ever expect like Canadian Toronto hip hop to get to where it is now? Like, did you have the foresight to be like, I know that this is coming?
Well, here's the thing that it's funny with you and me on a level. Cause thinking this, but I want to give you energy. I already seen it happen. In 89, okay, when West was signed, you know how many artists were signed? We had 10 artists signed.
Really?
In 1 year already. Yeah. Okay, you want me to lay it out? I can lay it out for you.
Yeah.
Okay, you had Dream Warriors. They won fourth and Broadway that year.
Yeah.
West was signed, right? You had Rumble that was signed to G Street. You had Crush and Scad to sign to 4th and Broadway. You had Mishi Me signed to Atlantic.
Yep.
You had HTV signed to ISBA. You had Split Personality signed to A&M. You had Kish signed. That was a little later. But that was on 4, okay? Look, I'm already at 8, man.
Yeah.
That was 1 year. We've never been back to what I saw before. That's the point I'm trying to say. Those are international signings all around the world that came out.
Yeah.
Dream Warriors sold almost 1 million records in 1 year. You know that. Like they were like 900,000 internationally.
Really? See,
yeah. They were 100,000 in Canada. They were like gold in the States.
That's insane. Think about
that. The Dream Warriors story needs to be addressed. King Lou needs to be addressed and anointed. Yeah, but everyone knows internationally. Like I said, everyone back home, they still do the research. Okay, remember that. Rumble did the remix for Cypress Hill. Look at it.
Yeah.
The singles. Yeah, all that was in 1 year, man. That's like 9 records signed. So those were all my friends. And I was in the studio. I was with them when they got all the deals, the tours, hype, everything. I was all part of that in the back, but it wasn't my deal. And I was like 17, 18. So I was like, oh my gosh. I thought, you know what I really thought? I got to, if these guys got this and we got all this in the bag and when the next one's coming, I thought we would have been so much further ahead. So here's the thing. After Drake, after everything we've had, after millions of records, where's all the signings? What's going on, Toronto?
Well, then that's actually
my view. That's why I say to you, hip hop's that's why I said to a lot of at the beginning of the interview, hip hop's almost like dead in Toronto to me in a certain way.
Well,
I seen it pop it, dude. When you looked around, it would be like Atlanta. We had like boom, boom. I seen it like that.
Well, and you saying
before me, it wasn't me. It was my friends. See what I'm saying? It wasn't me.
Yeah.
And then my time, and then we came and then they never signed us. That's why we went indie. That's what happened. So that's why you saw from 96, 97, that was the Knee Deep, that's the Knee Shocks, Socrates, all we at Cardi, all of us. We had to go the indie route because we realized, we're not going to be that, dude. And thank God we did that.
So what happened in that period, like, from, when it's like the year you said where there's so much happening on a major scale with all these, the fourth brother, like what happened between that and to where it never connected for the following? Because
the following, people left the game, right? Ron Nelson left hip hop and went to reggae. That was huge. And then we inherited the power move. Hip hop almost died at Toronto 1.2. If we didn't do that concept, DJ Lob made a post a week ago. Did you see it? Like about that thing called Live at the Barbecue? Go look it up on Instagram. You can see. He just posted it a week ago. Look on his page. That's our party we did. That
was
party.
All you guys.
That party's, huh?
The picture that had in it.
Had which in it?
The picture that had like a ton of the hip hop guys in it. That picture.
That party. Okay. Remember I said I had my hands. I know you saw the post. That party saved hip hop.
Wow.
In Canada and Toronto. I can't speak for Montreal. Hip hop was almost dead, dude. Because the CDs came out, DJs, reggae got big, Ron left hip hop. We weren't getting the shows. There was almost nothing happened for a year. And then we heard the radio show and we were going to New York back and forth. And they were doing this thing. We went to the New Music Seminar. That was the last time when Brand Nubian, Cube came out to Jericho. That was the last big, they had the rap battle. That was the huge one. We were in New York there for the whole thing. That shit was crazy. There's no time for that. Sorry, guys. But we came back from that. We got to save hip hop. We went to some parties. So we came up. That's when me, DJ X, DTS, 10K, about 5 was got in a room at Ron Nelson's house. And we came up with the concept Live at the Barbecue. And we put these live performances. And we literally threw those parties. That was what we did at the room. We threw them every 6 months and we saved hip hop. That's when the dancing came back. That's when Bag of Tricks formed. Bag of Tricks actually literally formed there. Ghetto Concert literally met and formed there off of the freestyle, but they went into the freestyle. That's the part I was telling you. That revived the energy of hip hop. It was gone. And we revived it, got it back, we kindled it, and in the vibe. And that's when Jonathan Ramos, REMG, came in. He was the part, and the people, I'm gonna start doing hip hop shows, and we started getting the shows again. We literally breathed the breath back into hip hop. This is like 1991, 92, dude.
Okay,
it was in Toronto, not in the world, but here it was like, who, what, hip hop?
So that was around 91, 92?
Yeah, that's when those Live at the Barbecues, it was like, we did those parties every 6 to 7 months. It wasn't like every week, but those parties revived the energy of hip hop, and then people saw hip hop, it could boom. Dude, the girls, everyone was there. It was crazy. We did free KFC. We did this cool concept. Dope flyers. We gave out shirts, made it hip. It was a lot. I still have people Live at the Barbecue show. We made 100 of them, limited edition. We went in with 2 black guys, I think, and did a bunch of other stuff. So we made it real, we went to New York. We did it some slick Manhattan, cool. We made hip hop cooler than anything. That's all I can tell you, man. But all the news was there, City TV, everybody. What's this party? People were like, what is this? It was on the New Music, everything. So we got the energy, the camera back on hip hop.
And then that
I don't like to brag about it, dude, but I know what I'm part of, dude. I'm telling some people, but it's not just me. It's like a collective energy, right? But yeah, we breathe the air right back.
There's
That's
two
what I'm saying.
things.
I know you can feel it, man. You can feel when it's alive and living. You can feel when it's just kind of existing. Man.
Yeah. There's two things on that point that I want to ask. So first, so what year was it around when Ron kind of withdrew from hip hop, doing the hip hop shows?
1990. He
1990.
went right into the reggae scene. He started Reggae Mania. You know he does into reggae. You know he's into reggae now. And if you look at his spirit, right? Yeah. It was 1990. He handed the show over to DJ X, me, Mastermind, like boom. Like Fabi goes, here, you got to, I'm going to follow my roots. He's Jamaican. This is my thing. I've done this for a long time. He did it for like 8-9 years, right? And he went that path. He'll tell you when you interview him. You interview him, aren't you? Yeah. Yep. So he'll tell you. So he'll say, oh yeah, I handed the thrust. Yeah, X thrust. Boom.
Wow.
So I'm part of the Power Move too. I was a co-host for like 5 years too, but then I was always doing music too. And then I went to Virgin in between label stuff. So always bags, man. Carry bags, man. But I always kept, like I said, keep what your main focus in the front. You know what I mean?
And the other thing too, so that's kind of, I just want to make sure I'm understanding correctly. So around the time that kind of dead period, that's kind of when labels kind of started losing interest in the city and stuff.
Labels never do. When have labels ever had interest in hip hop in Canada? What have labels done for hip hop in Canada, do you know, in the last 10 years since you've been here? What have they done? Have they done anything?
Not since I've been here. Well, and one thing you said actually was...
So, and then I told you before, but we went independent in the 90s. That's how you know everybody.
That's exactly what I was going to lead up to. So like going from Broadway signings with, you know, like you said, you named the 8 guys in 1 year. And then the kind of drop-off period, when you guys kind of brought back the Live at the Barbecue, brought the energy back, that's why you guys were all forced to do the independent route and do everything yourselves.
Yeah, because you knew the whole city wasn't accepting it, the clubs, nobody. It was just a small group of us was into hip-hop. Hip-hop was a small collective in Toronto, man.
Yeah.
At certain periods, right? Even in the 80s, it was popping, it was still only like 2,000 people, which is not a lot of people.
On a large scale.
When I say 2,000 people, the rest of people just never listened to it. It's not like now everybody just still kind of knows and listens to it. It was just 2,000 people just listen to hip hop, dude. Yeah. Nobody else. And you know, Toronto always had like 2 million people or more. Yeah. No matter what, right? Toronto's always a big city. Yeah. Right. In the 80s, Toronto had like 2.5 million people. We got 5 now. So we just don't, but you see what I'm saying? But it was still, but to have only 2, right? Yeah. Where even the R&B crowd, which is our own people, looking at you, oh, you hip hop dudes. Yeah. It was like that, you know what I mean? Like you were just in this corner by yourself, man. Right. So that's what I'm saying. So, but by that time in the mid-90s, we were like, we already knew because the labels didn't do, because we saw everything happen. Dream Warriors, West, Second, Third. They never moved on us. They never moved on the younger talent. We did Cold Front of Addict, boom, boom, boom. We're like, okay, right? We got to do this. I knew because I was going to the States. And so it was between and it was weird. It's all people who went to school. It was myself, Dave, and Frankenstein. Yeah. We all went to school together. We all went to high school together. That's the other tie.
Frankenstein. So he was producing.
We all went to Runnymede. Yeah, I went to Northern and Runnymede. So I started in Northern. I started around with Point Blank. That was the first guy I battled. Yeah. And then he had his little group. Yeah, Tilt Rock, the guy that started Point Blank, like the original, the OG of it, right? Yeah. That was my first group. Me, him, and Bolton. So I was rolling to Regent Park by myself, and I'm like 15 years old, dude. I was the only dude ever. People say I'm famous for that, dude. Yeah, man, look, dude. I was like, yo, shit, but man, I'm just gonna check my man, do music, whatever, right? But it was just weird. Yeah, and then so that's how things just kind of rolled out, man. Just the rollout, dude.
Roll into Regent by yourself at 15.
Dude, I rolled every area by myself. Ask about me. That's crazy. Never went nowhere. And that's the thing. I was downtown. My friends lived in the craziest areas. K-Note, all of them, right in Rexdale. Howie T, right in Jungle. And then my other music partner I worked with was in Regent Park. But here's the thing, dude. Remember where I told you I've been going my whole life. I could go anywhere in Toronto. Where was I going my whole life? New York City, dude. Yeah. Remember in the summer, I go shopping and walk through Avenue D, Flatbush, every rap area you heard in your song, dude, ever mentioned, I had to walk back with my bags from Fulton Mall to my aunt's house with 10 bags. Since I was 5, 6, 7, 8, and nobody ever messed with me there. So I didn't have no fear in Toronto. So if you do it, like I said, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. It's true. Once you do, I did that. That's crazy. Dude, that's the real crazy shit. right? As crazy as Toronto want to be, no, you're not the Bronx you're not the Bronx, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're not. So that's all I'm gonna say. And you don't want to be the Bronx. But I've been through those places late at night. This was I was small shorty. So Toronto. I just walk Toronto. I know how to walk Toronto. Plus, my friends already were the crazy ones.
Yeah.
That's all I tell you. I already knew the people who was gonna do the robbing, the stabbing, the shooting, the killing. They were all my friends. So once you know them, that's the key to the streets. You can walk anywhere. Oh
Yeah.
man.
When you did the album, Past, Present, Future,
Yeah.
the title of it, did that have to do with the fact that you had been in the game so many years, but you had been kind of behind the scenes and you had been in groups and stuff? Like, was that kind of like part of the reason of titling it Past, Present, Future? It's like, I've been here, present, and
at that point, I already had 12 years in the game.
Yeah.
Most rappers already gone. So I already seen it, and I was still fresh, and I knew I still had room to grow. So I was like, that's why I said Past, Present, Future. I knew I was going to be here right now, too.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm still growing I just have that thing, that youthfulness, even how I look. Like, I have this youthfulness about me. I have like this eternal youthfulness. I'm a big kid. And it's the way, you know what it is? I don't rhyme the same. I don't write the same so much. It could grow. Like, I had this thing about me I learned. I never like wanted to be typecast as an artist. So I just learned to write to the music, and then I just keep working on my craft. I always work. Like today, I just came home. I work too. I always work. I have another side job too. I keep a routine. Come home. Before I even got in the door, I just penned another word. Like, I'm always on it.
That's
so
incredible.
When you do that like that, yeah, I'm always on it. But I enjoy it. It's the process, right? I enjoy the process. You enjoy the process. I love the magic of making music and hearing a song work again. Because to me, it's special every time. And I think if you do that, it's hard for people to keep doing that and still have that joy from it. But I always find it. So the minute that will stop, then I'll just like, yeah, I know it's time to stop. But I'm just not one of those people, man. And I've always been a little ahead of my time. I think people always have to catch up to me.
Yeah.
Like my cousin told me that too. So people always got to catch up to you, man. You're one of those people. So that's just what it is, man.
And how do you find, like, how do you stay? I mean, I guess you kind of answered it in a sense by saying you just thoroughly enjoy it. But like, I was going to say, how do you keep yourself motivated to, like, through all these different eras with, like, does there ever come a point where like hip hop had changed so much on a wide scale in the main, you know, the status quo of what the general population looked at hip hop as, where you're just kind of like, man, you know what I mean? Like
you have those periods of doubt. I had like, there was a little 1 or 2 stints.
Yeah.
But the thing about hip hop, it always gives you something to refresh you, man.
Yeah.
There's never been the thing about, it depends on what you're used to. Because 80s and 90s, like we only had 1 or 2 good albums a year anyways. And it was so much singles. Hip hop's supposed to be a single-based thing, and you take the time to make a really good album. But now we're in the cookie cutter stage, and everybody can throw out albums, right? So people may look at it and go, oh, it's garbage. I go, no, it's not that garbage, because I'm still got my Conway the Machine this year. I still got my, oh my goodness, what's his name out of LA, man? My Kendrick. I still got my, right? You still get your 3, no matter what, hip hop still gives you 4 great albums every year, which is what it always gave us. It's just there's so much other fluff. So I don't get caught up in that. I just feed off of the 4 great ones. And I have that competitive nature because I know I can rhyme with anybody. I'm at the point now, I know I can rhyme with anybody. It's funny. You get to the point and you're like, but now I'm at the point now, like especially the last 3 years, I know I can rhyme with anybody.
Yeah.
Like I can rhyme with Conway, I can rhyme with Jay, I can rhyme with Drake, I can rhyme with them. I just haven't done songs with them. So that's fun. And I'm starting to get to the point, like I have this collab coming out, you'll see in about a week. It's that point. And that's fun too. Like you just want to get to that fun, competitive nature. And then it's nice to get to that point where you're like, hey, I got my own space because I've created my own space for myself. I have a recording style, the way I do it, it's all me. Yeah. It's all me. Like the way I do it, everything. When I send this stuff to BoFat, it's like James Brown, how I do my thing. So it's like, it's cool. So that's why you never get tired of it, because you get to see it grow it's like when you make a good pasta sauce, you just take the long route to make it. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's nice, man. And you see it and like, wow. Because it is still amazing that like, yo, I must have done like 2,000 songs and this one still sounds dope. Like it still amazes you. So you go back at it again. You know what I mean? Like that's the simplest I can tell you. Like, wow, man.
Well, because a lot of
You hear it like it's there. It's
yeah.
there.
A lot of artists get to a point where they do it because it's either a job or an occupation, or they almost feel like a duty or diligence to do it. But a lot of artists, like you can even hear it in the artists, is that they kind of, you can hear as over the years, a lot of artists lose the passion for it, right? But
the game, it's not the art, it's the game. The game drains you. Like my battery, you see, I have vibrant, but I know how to protect myself from the game.
Yeah.
I've seen the game take people's like essence, your soul, your light, your energy. You only have so much energy to give. That's what people know. Like we're not an untapped battery. A battery just goes forever. Like you got to charge it back up. And that's what happens. They get burnt out, they get jaded, they get around the wrong people. I still have the same people around me for the most part.
Yeah.
I still have the same friends from way back then. I still have that energy in touch with me, and I haven't let it go, and the connection is good. So that's the thing. So, and then I have new ones that had it on, and I have young, old, everybody in between, right? So when you have that, you say, but if you don't, oh my goodness, dude, eat you up, man. This game will eat you up cold, dude. And I never had any crazy addictions. Thank God I never got into like crazy drinking or any crazy drugs. You know what I mean? I like my trees and that's it. I've always done it. And it's still the same amount that I was from back then to now, even though the money could be here. It doesn't. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's good, but that's just, I had to make like a lot of hard decisions, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had one kid, a focus, I keep myself in a certain space because I've seen it tear apart everybody else.
Yeah.
I've seen every other artist up and down, like here and internationally. I've been around artists too when they were touring forever, and they would always tell me their stories, dude. So I just was graced to hear that and said, boy, you better not put yourself through that.
Yeah.
You're hearing this for a reason.
And that's
right?
Actually, because all of the different areas you've been around, all the different people you've been around who have, excelled in certain areas, this and that, even working for Virgin and doing promo, doing the tours like you were talking about with the Knowles and everything. You've seen all of these people, and you've seen how the industry will chew and spit out different individuals and what. So it's like, it's almost like a perfect, like you've seen it firsthand. So you're like, well, I know not to do that. I know. Well,
here's the thing. You see the ones that last. Like, I know RZA, and here's RZA and Premier. I know them both probably. Not know like pick up the phone, but know like interaction wise, since like both of them since 1990. I have crazy, like we have this soul thing. Like they come, we always interact some weird way. No, like I'm telling you, between New York, here, boom, it's just always like that. Some people you just connect, right? But I see the way they conduct themselves too.
Yeah.
I've been the way to see like a lot of people were long. I've seen Ice-T over a long time, how he conducted himself. I met Ice-T probably like 15 times over his whole career. It's different stages from like his early, boom. And I seen him every time how he was, not just like on stage. I'm talking about like in between interviews, press. I worked at Virgin too, because he was on Virgin too. So him doing his thing, working the business. I seen people do their business. I'm not talking about even just like rapping. I'm talking about just interacting with fans. I seen them. Like I got to spend days with groups, not like I spent a day with Naughty by Nature with Tretch, as an example. No one gets that time, dude. Like a whole day, I was that guy somehow, always. Like, hey, they're gonna drive from here to like, drove, like we spent like, I think we went to Kitchener, London, boom, boom, boom. Me in the van with Vinny, Tretch, boom, boom, boom. And it's just me in the room. I got pulled into a room with a Tribe Called Quest, the Marleys, who else? Busta Rhymes, and something else, because it was Sting's birthday. Yeah, Fife pulled me in the room. Rest in peace, Fife. I didn't even want to go. Come on. Boom, the lights come on. But you then the light, so it's like, I just look, okay, this is for me, just absorb this, dude. I never tripped. And that's the thing. Every time he tell you, my G, I never asked, and I almost said, no, let me leave. They're like, no, stay. Right? So when that happens, you stay, and I'll just be that quiet one, just watch. And when I did that tour in the States, same thing. I was around all the top people in the game, all the top managers, all the art. You've seen all the, you just so like sponge theory, man, right?
Yeah.
But the thing I'm looking for is the ones that are happy, the ones that ain't fucked up, the ones that still got a smile on the face, the ones that don't look like they're 400 years old, right? You look like after a while, I'm looking for certain characters. Dude. I almost did quit, man. When I was in the States, I came back, I saw what it turned some people into, like on the highest level, dude. I was like, yo, dude, I don't even know, man.
Really?
I told him at one point, I was like, I don't even, dude, I was only doing a little part of the show and I seen the whole world, but I said, I don't even know. That was the only time I said, I don't even know. But then I saw the Knowles family, that changed everything for me. That's what, when I seen them tour and how they toured, I won't break down whatever, but that was like when I spent that time, I said, oh, you could do it like this. You have to see an example of it.
Yeah. And see
They
how
literally toured, they toured their family. I became like really good friends with Beyonce's first cousin, right? Over Dreamcast in this video game, right when I came off the tour bus. And that's how it started. Like literally I came off the tour bus and he seen I had this thing. Oh, you got that game? Like, yo, oh, come on my bus. I didn't know who he was. I was the only hip hop guy from like the Soul Track, and there was just a dancer. So just fake right away. Boom, I was on the bus right away before even the dressing room. It was crazy, dude. Hey, wow. You gotta come out every show. But after that, like boom. Yeah, he put me on the DJ Screw, took me around Houston. I seen all that shit really. I got early screw tapes for everybody. I have like, yeah.
Screw?
Yeah, I went toward the States. I seen all that. I seen the whole States, dude.
Man.
For everybody. I seen it when I was growing up into music. But when I did those tours, I did the international tours for 7 months, dude. I seen the States 20 times, man.
Holy shit.
I came back. I told people like I went to Harvard. I went to college, I did underground shit. And then I went on the biggest tours. Like it's the same people doing the tours right now. The same, I know how it runs. But I seen all that, right? So but I was able to absorb it.
Yeah.
I was on tour for like a 16 and an intro. So the rest of the time, what are you doing? You just walking around, hanging out. There's 6 hours, 7 hours to finish, right? Boom, boom, boom. And I just happened to connect with everybody just because the hip hop thing.
Yeah.
Dances right away, boom, boom, boom. Oh, you from Toronto, but you different. But they know, because see, I've been to New York. So all the Brooklyn guys, I remember my aunt, boom, boom. Hip hop brings you everywhere, dude. I swear, because there's only like 15, but doing every night, we'll be looking up. Yo, where you at? Hip hop, man. That's why I love hip hop so much, dude. It did so much. I can't speak for everybody, but for me personally, so many amazing things, dude. And so many amazing friendships of a lifetime, too. That's something like,
yeah,
with stories, man.
Well, even like one thing I thought was really cool is because I know I can't remember the name of the joint off the top of my head, but the one Whitey Dawn did a few years back, but like Frankenstein produced it. And Frankenstein, like you even just said, you went to high school with him, and I know he produced Do You Understand? So like, you know, like you've been rocking with him since day one, and you're still rocking with him.
You still rock, man. That's what I'm saying. And that's the fun thing. It's not like I don't do fake, like my music, if you see me doing music with somebody, it's because we're friends, dude.
Yeah.
I've never done, let me think of my whole catalog, really. Yeah, like I don't mess with, because my friends are that talented too. That's the thing too. That's what I tell people. I don't have to go like, I would never have to really ask Premier for a beat, dude. As much as I had to connect to get the side, have been on the show, all that. I don't need to, because my friends, I got Mr. Addict from Grassroots I could call. I got this dude over here. I'm just throwing different names, all right? Like my friends are just that talented, right? Bofat, you know, that's the one everyone knows, like it's right in front of you, but there's so many people. I work with No Casino. I got this, if I just went through the Rolodex of my friends and I look around, there's some like most talented people in the world. Little X, I knew Little X forever, man, since he was like 13.
That's crazy.
Every stage of his scene, man. Every point. Like I could keep going. So my friends, like, that's why I said I look around and say, this is amazing, man. So it's easy. That's why it's easy to be inspired, because you look around and you see what your friends are doing. Like, oh, okay. Yeah. Right? But like I said, dude, I just having fun with this thing, still sharp with this thing, enjoying this thing. And there's like so much more coming. It's gonna be crazy, dude. You see what we're working on right now.
That's what I'd like to hear. And I know you got stuff you got to do. I know you're a busy guy, so I don't want to take too much more of your time. But I do want to just touch on one kind of in between, 1-2 in between things before we really talk about, and you already talked about some of the current stuff at the front end, so we don't have to focus a whole lot on it at the back end here. But one thing, just you talking about relationships, one project I thought was really dope and a relationship I found interesting was the T to the D that you did with Dankry Hot. I was curious kind of how your guys' relationship flourished and how that whole thing kind of came together initially.
You guys haven't even fully even heard the whole like releases. We got some records. T to D was just because we became friends. Like we were friends. We met pretty much a couple of days after Dilla's passing through a mutual friend.
Oh,
And then,
really?
you know, you just meet somebody. Yeah, he was in Toronto for a couple of years, but I just never crossed paths with him, like, you know, until they had their deal and everything. And then we just ended up talking for like 7 hours
No
and then
shit.
hanging out, chilling. Boom. And it just came from hanging out. Like when we hang out, it's T to the D, Toronto to Detroit, the rest of the day. It just had this ring, and we were like, yeah, we're going to do a group with it. But we had that concept for like 7 years, never recorded nothing. And then we just recorded a bunch of stuff. So we have that's some even more unfinished business, as they say, no EPMD, no pun intended type thing. You know what I mean? Where we got stuff in the can there that could come out too. But everything's about situating and just getting ourselves like to the place we want, and then we're gonna drop. But yeah, that's how that came, man. Just mutual friends, my cousin Sid, and just Doc, big up Doc Martin. You know, Doc Martin produces Stereo. Cousin Doc is a good friend of mine too. So just through those two people, we had the studio downtown to just record out of, right by Queen and Bathurst, and we just linked up from there.
Oh shit! I used to live at Queen of Bathurst.
Ah, shucks. It's right down the block there from the pizza spot, like south block of the house. Things still used to be in there. Oh my gosh, what's his name? I'm blanking on the producer's name. Could see his face too. But anyways, man, yeah, that's how we connected.
Crazy, man, crazy. And one other thing, and I know it's probably the thing that you've talked about 100 million times, and we don't have to focus on it super hard, but everybody I've interviewed has been a part of this song. I've talked to, you know, so I do got to just get your side, because I know Shock's side. I know Dan. Dan was referenced on it. He wasn't on it, but you know, the Northern Touch thing. How did you initially become a part of that record?
That's another thing people don't know. I'm one of the initial people that helped
Really?
orchestrate it.
Okay.
Beyond even being on it, because there was a call that was made, a conference call. It was supposed to be on a compilation. It wasn't supposed to be on the Rascals album. Supposed to be one of those MC Mario dance mix CDs. I don't know if you remember those things. Yeah, that's how it started. That's how it started. This is how you know how early I was in on it. So there was a call, and I was a virgin because of the label, right? But I'm an artist and I'm at the label. So they're like, yo, we want to do this song for us. We got to get you, Rascals. It was initially supposed to be me, Rascals, Shock Claire, Julie Black, and Chaos. That was initial. Cardi wasn't on it yet. Cardi wasn't on it at all from the initial call. And then we're talking, how are we going to do it? And then I go, okay, we can do all that. But that's a lot of people, though, time-wise. And then I remember one point I was like, well, if we're going to do this, you got to make the Rascals do like one, because that's the key to the song. I tell people, this is my idea. You got to make them do one verse. They can't do separate 16s, or the song will be too long. So that's why they bobbed and weave. I don't know if people noticed, they bobbed and weave, and everyone else had their own bars.
Yeah.
Right. But a typical Rascals song, that's boom, boom, and then they go together, right? So I was like, no, you got to do it, because the format and then we'll put, and then the chorus is supposed to be Julie Black and Chaos. Oh yeah, and Checkmate was in it. Sorry, Checks. Oh my God, sorry, Checks. Right. So it was me, Shock, Checks, Julie Black. Yeah, because you know initially how it ended up. So that was on a call to orchestrate that. Everyone agreed, and then they said, okay, you guys record your part and make the Rascals and Checks. You guys do your part in LA, and LA in Vancouver, and me and Shocks will do their part down here. And then we went to the studio to record it. Both one takes, boom, up, quick. We're done in like 7 minutes. It was fast. And then we couldn't find Julie Black and Chaos, and that's how Cardi was on the song.
Yeah, wasn't Cardi?
Then we called Cardi.
And
he had allergies. He was like sick as a dog. Yeah, I remember. Like Redman, tissues up his nose. Yeah, that's what he sounds very. You can hear it in the vocal.
Yeah.
So the song was me, but it was supposed to be on a comp, and then the comp got dropped, and then Saul decided, the manager Rascal decided to put it on the Rascal. Releases a single. Hey, I meant you do this as a single. Put it in a pool. Put it out, and then it kind of grew there, and then they decided to stripe it on the Rascals album. That song was like a 2.5 year ride, 2 year ride. But we did so much other stuff. That song was just in the background, dude. There's so much more music you guys didn't hear in that time. It never got released. That you'd see why. Like it might. Hopefully, these guys will start releasing some of it. But yeah, you know what gems there is back then? Woo!
Man,
there's some combos. I know I'm on them, and I never heard it. I was like, oh, that never came out.
I hope
one I remember. It was like Red Life, Kryptonite. I think Quadro's on it, Ghetto Concept, me, Frankenstein, I think Infinite. Yeah, there's some combos and some stuff that never, dude. Anyways, man, producers, it's not me. It's not me. It's in studios. But anyways, yeah. So that's how that came together. That's the story of that. So I was part of the call, and then part of we orchestrated that, and then boom. Even some of the artists don't know that they're even on the song.
Yeah, and it was supposed to be on an MC Mario mix,
like one of those dancing, but they wanted to have one of those kind of thing, but have a more like a hip hop edgy kind of one, right? And I wanted to have one Canadian song for CanCon, right? That's how it started.
That is
so
great.
Big concert. So it was a call between Sony, EMI, Universal. Yeah. And then that's what happened. Universal pulled out. Like they didn't want to do it. Like it's supposed to be to 3 labels, and they're like, nah, we're not. Because they were going to put some of their song, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Ja Rule, this. So I'm just saying an example. Like they were all everyone's gonna throw in for the MC Mario, right? And then something happened between the 3, and then one pulled out, and then there's we're not doing it. We still had the song though.
Wow. And
that's the part of the story only I could tell. I mean, people don't interview the execs. You guys haven't interviewed the execs on that record, so you're gonna interview the artists. So yeah, that's the part I could tell.
Yeah. And had you guys already shot the video at the point where, like when Universal pulled out and the song kind of?
No, video was later. That's when we knew it was big. The video was shot like the song was out catching buzz in New York. It was like there was vinyl. They pressed the vinyl. It was in pools. It was catching in the States first. That record caught in New York. That wasn't a Canadian record, dude. That record was a US record, dude. Because it came at the same time in DMX. So that December, we went to New York. Everyone was playing that, and they were playing Get At Me, God. It was back to back. Yeah. All the top, like all the P-Rocks, all the DJs. Like I'm talking about in New York. Yeah, we were in New York. We had distribution right out of New York, all the main stores. A lot of people don't understand about. We were in the mix like crazy. You look at all those mixtapes, Clue, all those guys were on all those tapes, man.
Yeah. Well,
I can bring them out and line them up. You sure? When I say we, between me, Socks, Ghetto, if like those artists that you would, we were in, so there was a point, Toronto Records are the hottest records. Like if you went to the seminar, people, poof, gone. Where are the Toronto Records? They say, gone. Toronto had 3 like periods of buzzes, but it was collective. Like that's the thing now, it's kind of weird because it's not like you should have like 15, 20 artists with, you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying, man. We had like these Renaissance periods, man, these periods of heightenedness. And then some, the only thing that stopped that buzz was 9/11. Or else we would have been higher. Because the towers came and then kicked everybody back again.
Yeah.
We were just about to bust. That's 2001, right?
You know what?
That's what people forget. That's when my record came out, right on it. Yeah. Right on September 11th. That's why people didn't see me for a minute.
I never made
thrust.
I never patient. But the timeline, it makes absolute sense. Like
that's why my record literally came out on. No, my record came out on the day.
Really?
I had to cancel a release party, everything, dude. Craziest day of my life, dude. That's why I'm laughing now, because no, it's okay. You still started back up. Life is great, man. It comes, like, you know what I'm saying? That wasn't the time to do anything.
Yeah. Are you a firm believer everything happens when it's supposed to?
Yeah, that wasn't the time.
Yeah.
Nobody big, like nothing came out of that time. The climate wasn't there. Now is the time.
Yeah.
You want to be alive doing hip hop now.
Yeah.
The climate's there. The city's known. This is that. Everything's at the proper level. Back then it wasn't, right?
Yeah.
The climate's now. So you want to go through the eras and be at that time at the prime. You want to strike something in its prime.
Yeah.
So that's the beauty of me. I'm youthful, full of energy, still talented, all the experience in the world, right? There you go, man. I wrote a line there. Was it? What else was I say? Vet, a vet with talent is the very worst threat. I put that in a rhyme the other day. A vet with talent, because you're a veteran. You know the game, dude. I know everyone's moving before they do. I know the kind of way the guy wants to shake my hand before I've seen it, but you still talent. That's why Jay-Z is dangerous. That's why Kanye's dangerous. Because they got so much talent, but they're seasoned. They're so seasoned. You're like, wow, how do you deal with this guy, man? He's already seen everything I'm probably going to try and do 1,000,000 times. You know I've seen that play before, right?
Yeah.
I know when something's going to happen before the guy's even going to do it, dude. Like if a guy's gonna let off, like I know the body language of it, but I've seen it like 40 times, man. You know what I mean? It's not a nice thing to see, but you get what I'm saying? It's almost like you just kind of, like saying sports when everything slows down, the whole game's slow for me, dude. Like, yeah, that's the best way to look at it.
Yeah.
The game's slow for me, dude. I see it. Oh, there's that greasy guy. He wants to come over to me and ask some stupid, gonna give me a flimsy handshake. Huh. Oh, there's the good guy. I gotta go to him right now to intercept that. You just know how to move, man.
Yeah.
Move in a room full of vultures. What's our song?
With that being said, I would love to get you on the show again, man, and talk some more history, everything. There's so much stuff that, especially even just in talking to you, I had no idea about, you know what I mean? And just so many pockets of history we could dive deep into. But I do want to come full circle and talk about what you got going on at the moment. And I know you've talked about the Bo Fat thing, and you got the Danku album coming out. You got another project with Bo Fat as well, you said too, right? Two more.
I'll drop this here. We got the end of this week, August 28th. September 1st, Deadly Jewels drops with Bo Fat. That's his on vinyl through Snow Goons. So that's a compilation of like just combination of artists, right? So okay. I got the second single, and we're doing it with Ed O.G., the infamous Ed O.G. Woo! And we got a song called OGs in This Game. So that comes out Friday. So that's my next big single. That's coming out. That song is crazy. Just a natural connection. So that's our next little project. We're doing that. And then after that, we're going to see, because I have things done and finished, but it's just like our timeline. Right. So we're going to re-release. We're thinking of re-release. I think we talked about it the other day, so we'll obviously do it. But Christmas time, we're going to re-release, remaster the Broken Arrow LP. Woo! And then once we do that, and then we're going to put some bonus cuts on it. So that's going to be like a Christmas thing. So, get your vinyl while you can.
Yes.
Get your vinyl while you can.
Look at
so those. We're going to do that. And we're gonna do CDs. Like I said, people are asking for CDs, so we're gonna do that for Christmas with some bonus cuts. And then I also have my first original album. I'll let this out the bag. That's being released again too through a label out of Montreal on vinyl. So that's coming like the end, like November. What they say? November 28th. So the Chosen Ones is coming back out, reissue, vinyl skits. There might be a bonus song or two on there. So that's all vinyl. So as I said, this is the year of vinyl. Now I have so much vinyl coming out. Like, it's crazy. Because I'm on the Tough Dumpling vinyl. Big up Tough Dumpling on his album too. So that's what we're doing, man. Like I said, releases. And for all you know, you could get a 1994 too at some time. Who knows? Whatever else we come up with. Who knows? Man?
That'd be dope. I would love to see that on vinyl, man. Selfishly, I'd love to see that on vinyl.
But we're good, because like I said, I got another solo album finished. I let no title, it's in the can, ready. I had it for like 4 months. So we're working on the next one. So I'm like I'm like 2 albums ahead, man. So we're good, man. Musically, we're good. And there's a whole bunch of like collab stuff that I can't even think of that we just keep doing with a whole bunch of other artists. That's gonna come out too in the meantime. So me and Deco have 2 albums though.
Oh,
2 in the can. Nicer Than You.
Man.
And we just finished one like 2 months ago. So the music cupboard is full, people. And if you want to do you want to work, y'all want to work, just get at me, man. Get the brother proper.
What's the best
on the gram? Thrust Music is the moniker everywhere. So just go on the gram, go on the Facebook, go on, social media platform. That's just the moniker you'll find me under. Thrust MUZIK. And just message me, inbox message me, man. If you go on my Instagram, you'll see my emails on there, but it's OG Thrust, easy, at gmail.com. So hit me up. Everyone knows how to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just get the right, I'm a person with the right music. So get the right music. Please let it be something that's coming out. You know what I mean? It's really coming out, because at this stage of my career, I'm doing everything now to make a contribution. And like I said, to keep it like everything we're doing is art. That's why we want to do these releases and give you something to hold on to. Because I told somebody the other day, it's nice to know that, if the internet went down and everyone's music couldn't be found, hey, You can still play my record. You can still play my music and find it. It would still be here.
Yeah.
And BoFat was like, wow, I never thought. He goes, yeah, when you have something physical, like the CD, the tape, this and dude, it could all go down for 6 months. Remember we had that remember that weekend?
Yeah.
Everyone's bank card wasn't the Rogers, man.
Yeah.
So see that happens, man. I'm okay. I'm good.
Yeah. I think a lot of people in the streaming era lose focus of how important it is to have something tangible.
Well, you're leaving something behind. Even when you leave the planet, you're leaving something behind. I wanted to leave something to Sana. This is something you could put up, could be in a museum, could be on a wall. This is art. That's what I said. The art is from look at the covers, man. From the covers, man. This is art. The music is art, the cover is art. You can read the credit. Remember that? So that's what I'm into. That to me, that's so slick right now. I love doing that's part of the thing we're bringing back. To be part of that's awesome.
That's my favorite thing when I grab a new CD or a record is to open up the credits immediately and read them. That's the one thing I hate about the streaming era is it's actually a pain in the ass to try to find the credits.
Yeah, streaming doesn't. The process of streaming doesn't bother. I think it's cool. It's another thing, but it's not the end all be all, man. You know what I mean? Like it's just there's just something nice in just having, like I said, your physical copy. I mean, even that day when everything went down, all the people with Game Pass, I game and everything. If you look in my room, that was the best day. We're in my room now. Oh, it went down, eh? I have I had so many physical games. Every other weekend, my girl's like, you're smart. I'm like, yeah, I'm sitting there, I haven't played this in and for all my sins, I always make sure I have one that can still get the physical, man.
Yeah.
It's a combination. It's like they say, the best way to be advanced is to have the knowledge of the ancients. You mix the knowledge of the ancients with what we're doing in the future.
Yeah.
It's it's a bridge, man. And that's how you get something progressive and you build a better future.
Yeah.
You got to put both knowledges together every time. But when you it's the same thing with hip hop, that's how you build something new.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you're not going to build something new if you don't have one or the other. You're just going to be stagnant in a way. The old school guy will just be too old school, and the new guy will just be too new school.
Yeah.
So what are we building, man?
It's just
where are we going? Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's facts, man. That's facts. And Thrust, thank you so much for your time, man. I truly, truly appreciate it. This this conversation was even more enlightening than I could have even imagined. The things that we touched on, the areas we covered. I thank you so much for your time. I want to thank you again for the opportunity of the 1994 project. I just want you to know that I greatly, greatly appreciate that opportunity. I think I can speak for most of the MCs who are on that project as well when I say that. And, and I think I could speak for anybody listening to the show airing or watching the video on the back end right now, that, the nuggets and the jewels that you dropped in this interview, for any hip hop head, anybody who's interested in the history of Toronto hip hop history, culture, this was a very enlightening conversation, and appreciate all the knowledge that you brought to the table today, man. Well, I salute you for having me. Let's do it again, cuz. Let's chop it up. We obviously got to get back in the room, 100%, man. All right, man. Well, thanks for having me. Yo, you know what the deal is. Like I said, y'all know the monikers, where to find me. Thrust Music everywhere. Let's do this show. Yo, we out, man.